with Real Madrid to finalise and bottom out the remaining few points before their official bid for Raphael Varane is placed. Personal terms we know are no problem and or agreed. The base fee of £42 million, 50 million euros is said to be agreed. The legal sort of preliminaries have been completed over the exchange of contracts. Of course, more of those need to be done after official personal terms are agreed and the bid is accepted, but all the legalities up to now are done. The fee structure is in the closing stages. Now the clubs are in direct contact with one another, and it appears the signing of Raphael Varane at Manchester United is closing in with great speed. This Sunday afternoon, a lot of credible journalists from across France, the UK, and Spain are signaling out very, very, very consistent news to what we've all believed for a long time, that this deal was going to be completed. We're going to delve into that in a much more detail for you. We're going to take your calls. I want you to smash that like button for me, hit the share button, but it is happening, people. The deal is closing in. It is very, very close to being a completed deal. Raphael Varane is going to be a Manchester United player. The signs are all positive right now. And as Dean Jones said the other day, as soon as the official approach begins, the official conversation begins, and they lead up to that official bid, it becomes a matter of when and not if Raphael Varane becomes a Manchester United player. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Raphael Varane closing in on his move this summer to Manchester United. Of course, a move initiated by the French international, wanting a new challenge and to get himself away from Real Madrid. One of the most important elements to remember about this deal, fans are not always as keen to know about this or speak about it as others in the game, but the amicable approach and nature of Manchester United and Real Madrid has been brilliant to see. The way Myrtle and Fletcher have liaised with their counterparts in Madrid has been brilliant, because this deal hasn't spiraled into nonsense. There are not crazy stories being leaked. There's not infighting in the press. The player is relaxed. I spoke to a couple of contacts of mine this morning in the game who said that the major delay over the course of the past week has actually been Manchester United stepping back and allowing Real Madrid to assess their situation. There was no worry or concern from Man United's point of view or Varane's point of view that a deal couldn't be struck. We tweeted that a number of times over the course of the week and shared that information. It was about allowing Real Madrid to assess their situation. Are they going to go and buy a replacement centre-back? Are they going to go and look at a Pau Torres or a Jules Koundé to fix that hole? Or are they going to reinvest that money elsewhere in the squad this summer, or maybe save the money that they're generating through the fee, and of course saving in weekly salaries towards some mammoth purchases that they're potentially looking at next summer? Man United allowing that room to breathe has kept things very, very amicable, very, very clean, and in a very, very good space indeed. We've seen a number of reports, and you know that I've all said that all week, so I tweeted it today and I said it today, but there's been a lot of comments from certain journalists and outlets over the course of today that have very much firmed that up and confirmed that information, that things are going how they need to. We saw from Mohamed Basfari earlier on today that direct contact is now between the clubs. And for football fans reading the code of transfers, direct contact between clubs is gold dust now. That is that sign that you are moving into the final stages and getting things completed. Because as we know, everything up until that point is intermediaries. All the initial offers, all the informal bids, all the formal inquiries, all of the touching of base with the players, everything is done via intermediaries. One, to ensure that no rules, so no FIFA or UEFA transfer rules are broken and can lead you into trouble, but also the clubs protect themselves from a PR point of view. Over the course of today, Manchester United and Real Madrid have had direct contact with one another. They are finalizing the details as it stands right now. Most of the reports are suggesting the fee is going to be in the region of 50 million euros, the exact amount last Saturday that we told you it would be. However, there could be an even bigger bonus here for Man United. It does appear there may be. It's only one agent I spoke to today said that he heard this rumor. So we'll see if it comes to fruition. This is purely me passing on this information here. But Man United may, and this could be through their amicable, sensible kind approach, may have got rid of the vast majority, if not all, of the 8 million euro add-ons that were potentially going to be put on top of this deal. They were looking to negotiate that out anyway over the course of this week, and it appears that maybe this has been done, but only time's going to tell. But the base fee will be in and around 42, 43 million pounds, around that 50 million euro mark. We may see the overall price drop from around 58 million euro down to about 55 million euros, but it's going to be within that ballpark. The final stage of the fee structure being agreed. United have trusted the intermediaries and third parties they've used to source the right information. So Man United are very, very confident at this moment in time that what they're going to sit down on the table with, it will be a video call, by the way, rather than face-to-face. But what they sit down in the meetings with and what they speak about today with Real Madrid should be 95% where they need it to be to get it done. We know that personal terms are not going to be an issue in any way, shape, or form. We know the deal is going to go through very, very quickly from that point of view. Varane turned down the numerous offers that Real Madrid made to him. He made it very, very clear that he didn't want to stay. He only wants to join Manchester United. The challenge of being the club with the history, size, and legacy of the Red Devils has really, really drawn him in. There's no doubt about it. Of course, working with this young and exciting squad that Manchester United have, the likes of Sancho coming in as well, and more players on the way. We will be giving you a big Sound Against update later on today also. So it's a tremendous piece of business by Manchester United Football Club from my point of view. And, we put a tweet out earlier. I saw a few reports coming out of Spain. AS, I think, and the Mirror kind of accumulated it. I reached out to, the journalists that we have here on the channel. I reached out to a couple of agent friends of mine saying, have you heard anything else? And that's why I put the tweet out. Their view was it's going to start to escalate over the course of today. I didn't expect the volume and speed of news to come out from the credible outlets that it has to be this thick and fast. It's a weekend. Normally the weekends things kind of slow down, but it appears now that Real Madrid and Man United want to get these final stages completed quickly. They want to try and get this deal done and over the line in the space of the next 7 days. Man United, the one thing they really want now, he started preseason training already, but it's to get Varane integrated with his new teammates, and it's to get him ready for that opening game of the season, which is going to be very, very important to Manchester United as they head into a campaign that's very, very pivotal for them. I want to take your calls on this deal today. The link to call in is pinned into the live comment section. So if you want to come on and speak about this deal, give me your thoughts, feelings, any other deals you want to speak about as well. Jack Grealish, James Maddison, what's going on with them? Really want to hear from you in relation to all of that. If you've got any questions for me, if you want to make a statement, if you want to have a rant, anything you want to do, the Football Terrace gives you, the fans, a chance to have your say each and every time we stream, pretty much every time we stream, not every single time, but there we go. Make sure that like button is being smashed for us as well, people. We have a poll out as well. This says, will Man United reach an agreement with Real Madrid this week? 76% of you think yes. I want to put some more polls out, but I need your inspiration for that. I'm going to go through your comments, and it'll be a comment or a phone call that's going to trigger the next poll. So keep yourselves voting in there. I'm going to do some of your comments in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I want to read out some of these sources, though, some of the comments that have been made across social media in the last few hours in relation to this deal. One here says that Raphael Varane has not requested more money from Real Madrid. He wants a new experience. The club knows this. That's why perhaps the club did not make a second offer to renew his contract. That was one that today come from Madrid Extra. There's one here that says sources close to Raphael Varane have assured him that the negotiations between the clubs have intensified. The French defender is leaving Real Madrid. That comes from verified outlet here, Real Madrid, or the Madridista Real, verified entity across socials. There's another one here that's come out, and this is from a journalist at Marca, who said that Raphael Varane will join Man United for around 50 million euros. Welcome to Manchester United and good luck is what was said there. So as I've mentioned, lots of reports coming out just so rapidly as it stands. I mean, everywhere I'm looking right now, just everywhere you look, more and more reports coming out. You've got to try and sieve through them as best as you can. There's a comment here. This is an interesting one that's come from Gol Espania, who says Real Madrid have agreed to sell Raphael Varane for 50 to 55 million euros. I wonder where we've heard that before. The club's third captain signed in 2011 for around 10 million euros and has already played his last match in white. So that's a further confirmation that's just been released there. And they're coming through thick and fast. The real Kevin Palmer here says sources in France and Spain suggest United have agreed terms with Varane and the clubs are now finalizing a fee. It's as if Kevin Palmer has been watching my Twitter feed all day. I'm only joking. Listen, as I say, I'm not an in the know. I'm very open. And I don't tell you who the names of certain contacts are because they want to remain anonymous. But we all know I know a few agents in the game. We have a number of journalists that come on the show. And you'll see very soon some more entering the fray with the Football Terrace on a regular basis. Some very close to Man United. Some very close to some of the other London clubs as well. This is all part of the process of bringing you, the fans, closer to football. We don't really buy into the most recent level of, I don't want to say BS, kind of the PR element of the game. If it's intermediaries talking, I'm taking that as clubs talking. I don't like this new way that we kind of want to, the outlets want to pull the wool over fans' eyes and pretend that conversations haven't begun just because they're not official. I understand why clubs do it, and I understand the rationale for it. But from a fan's point of view, whether it's via an intermediary or direct, it's the same difference at the end of the day. Let's go through some of your comments coming through here, but please make sure first, there's a few bits of admin. Make sure that like button's been hit. We're sitting on nearly 1,300 live viewers, which is amazing. But let's get this past 1,000 viewers while we are live, please. On top of that, if you never want to miss another Football Terrace notification again, we have a link in our description below for our Telegram group chat. Your number will be in there anonymously. You won't get spammed by anyone else in the group or even by myself. We'll just be notifying you as and when we go live. Get yourself signed up to that now. If you're brand new to the Football Terrace today, do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications as well. We've got a number of people waiting backstage to come on and have their say. We will go to your calls very shortly. Saw on Twitter this account saying, where did you get the info from? Oh, listen, they're cool with me. Like those guys I speak to, they're fine. They weren't MUFC MPB. Like we speak behind the scenes as well. Like he wasn't trying to be salty or funny. He was just literally asking me where I got that information from. I shared the article. In fairness, this is the way it worked for me today. I saw the thing in the mirror and then I reached out to some people and got further information. The mad thing was I went to the gym. By the time I left the gym, the internet had gone mad. Like legitimately, the internet had gone mad. Absolutely mad. But there we go. There we go. I haven't actually seen Kevin Palmer tweet that. I'll say that himself. I'm just looking here to see. Oh, yeah, he has. No, yeah, he has said that now. I've seen it. I'm actually going to retweet the man because I like to retweet the original source. Do some more of these comments coming through here. Terry, well done, mate. You were the first one to tweet about this today. Listen, again, obviously, we're pushing the information out. Obviously, we have our sources now at the Terrace that are growing week in, week out. We've been talking about this deal now. I'm not a journalist, so I don't need to worry about credibility. I just pass on the information that's given to us, whether people like it or not. I don't have any particular loyalty to any club. Some of the journalists have information they don't even want to. This is the maddest thing. Some journalists get information that they don't even want to push out because it can be damaging to a relationship with a particular player, agent, club. They sometimes don't even want the attention that comes with it. So that's where we work with them. But thank you very much for recognizing that, my friend. Avi Troops says, Terry, what's this hype about Chelsea? What's this hype about Chelsea just because they won the Champions League? They were awful last season. If they don't sign Haaland, top four is a doubt for them. I wouldn't necessarily say there's a hype about Chelsea because they've got a brilliant squad. They improved massively under Thomas Tuchel, and they weren't rubbish from when Thomas Tuchel came in. They then won the Champions League, and they're linked to the greatest young goal scorer in the history of European football. If that doesn't allow you to be, get excited, then I don't think football's for you, my friend. The football terrace is awesome, have been awesome always. Thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate that. Let's look at some more of your comments that are coming through. Varane is already overhyped and he hasn't even kicked a Premier League ball yet. And QPR say hello. I like that. That's a nice little bit of banter there. That's a nice little bit of banter indeed. Let's go to some more of your comments that are coming through here across social media. I want to see what's being said. It's absolutely getting mad. Announced Varane has been trending for 2 days now. It's been 2 days. I tell you what's going to be really, really interesting. This is going to be the interesting one for me, people. I actually need to try and find the tweet because I tweet a lot, like everybody does. And what I don't do is bookmark. I should start bookmarking my tweets a bit more. But someone sent this to me yesterday, and they were like, "What's going to happen?" I now need to go and find it. Right? That was earlier on. Let me find. I need to find this tweet. I think Jamie Carragher has blocked me as well. Ain't my fault. I just called him out for something that he said that I thought was wrong. And I'll stand by that. I stand by what I said. I'm looking for this tweet here. I need to find this, right? Do bear with me. Did I put it out before or after? Do you remember yesterday as well when I tweeted? This is one that's funny. Yesterday when I tweeted, there is no abnormal hold up on the Varane deal. Multiple factors at play here, including Madrid's replacement. All parties are comfortable, relaxed, and want the deal to end with Varane joining Man United. Because remember yesterday morning when the media was trying to push and all the scaremongers were trying to push that news that the deal was slowing up and there was panic and blah 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 blah. Like absolute nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. But essentially 9 days ago, I tweeted that this could be a massive 10 days for Manchester United. And the reason that I said that is because I was just given some information essentially by a journalist who said it's going to be an interesting next 10 days. And I just said, he said he thinks these deals are going to go through. So I just kind of tweeted saying, get excited, Man United fans, because journalists are getting excited. And imagine we announce Varane tomorrow inside the 10 days. When I say Dean Jones needs some respect, Dean Jones needs some respect. That's all I'm going to say on this one. Monsieur here says, sale of 3 players has made 30 million. Surely that's got to be a player bought in for Liverpool. Also, I reckon Varane will be pushed to the end of the transfer window, you think? That's an interesting one. And maybe, if Real Madrid, throw a spanner in the works during these conversations, maybe. Doesn't feel like it's going to go down that level right now, Monsieur. In terms of Liverpool, we've got an update coming on one of Liverpool's targets a little bit later on today. So bear with us for that. We're going to start going to some calls now. We want to hear from you, but make sure those like buttons are being smashed, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're sharing this stream across your social media platforms. And I need some inspiration. Put some comments in there. Members and super chats, of course, we'll prioritize. What should the next question on the poll be? I want you to inspire us here on the Football Terrace today. Give us your thoughts and feelings on it. First caller of the day we're going to go to is Manny. Manny's a Man United fan. What are you here to say, mate?
Hi, Terry. How are you?
I'm very, very well. What's on your mind, buddy?
Yeah, the Varane deal is looking very likely now. It's actually good because I was trapped into the scaremongering a few days ago. I thought that the deal would probably take to the end of the summer, and thank God that it's accelerated very quickly now. And I would like to ask you a question because I seen a lot of information today and yesterday that about the price. Some people say it's about 45 million pound to 55, and some people say it's 45 million euros to 55. How's it looking to the price? Because I think it's important because it seems to me that Manchester United are taking a little bit time because they want the deal to be done as cheap as possible.
But that's not really been what slowed it down. What slowed it down is that Real Madrid have got to get their ducks in a row. Real Madrid need to ensure that they know what they're doing with the money afterwards. Are they saving it? Are they buying someone? If they're buying someone, who are their options, who are available? That's what good clubs do. They want to make sure they're not left with egg on their faces. Imagine they sell Varane today and go, right, let's go and buy Koundé. And then Koundé's like, no, I've already agreed to join Tottenham. If they don't do their due diligence behind the scenes, they could look silly. they may decide not to get a replacement. Of course, Man United are going to continually try to drive the price down. That's what anybody buying something in this level of negotiation for this kind of funds would do. That's not, so it's more the realm, what a Real Madrid doing afterwards slowed things down. But from a Man United, Varane, Madrid perspective, there has been no slowing down of this news. What we have seen from certain media outlets has just been the slow release of news, or more so, there's been no update. So they've just, for me, made up a story with no grounding to say, oh, Varane might be getting frustrated with waiting this long, blah, 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 blah. And for me, it's like, there's no calls that he's getting, that he's frustrated. There's nothing credible that he's getting frustrated. It's all, and it's all I've said on every single stream. Relax, relax, relax. This Varane deal has been over 90% done for the past week to 10 days. He's going to be a Man United player unless something catastrophic changes. And if you notice that when I speak about the Haaland thing, I haven't once said I think Haaland 100% or 90% is going to be a player. I haven't said that about the Trippier deal. I haven't said that about the Maddison deal. I haven't said that about the Saúl deal. What I've said is that this element has been agreed, but there's still a long way to go. This deal I'm very, very certain on because the information we've received on it is very, very different.
Yeah,
indeed.
Terry, can I ask you a last question about...
Final point, mate. Go on.
About this midfield options of Man United. Have you had any updates on that? And do you think we will sign someone?
Man United have already started looking at the midfield option. This is how confident they are in this deal. While Madrid have been sorting out their situation, Man United have spent the majority of the last week talking to 2 or 3 targets for the midfield area. There are some preliminary offers, some opening offers that are going to go in very, very soon. Not directly to the clubs, of course, through intermediaries again, but that is going to progress. United are looking at bringing in a midfielder this summer. They've just got to be very mindful here that they may or may not lose Paul Pogba. Because, and what I mean by that is, there was talk the other day that he's rejected the 350 deal, but that doesn't mean he's necessarily leaving this summer. Who Man United buy in midfield is dependent on Pogba leaving or Pogba staying. And I think that's what we need to be aware of, mate. Manny, listen, top man, thanks for coming on and having your say. Super chat here from CJ. Says, hey, Terry, missing your crazy laugh in your intros. Any chance you could sort out a way we can download that laugh? I will have it as my ringtone. I don't know. Maybe I can work that out. That made me laugh. Thank you. Man like Slens here, one of our members, brand new panelist on a Football Terrace from next season. He says, will Man United finish with the best defense in the league with Varane? I love that. That is a great question. That is going to be the new poll question. That is going to be the new poll question because that is phenomenal. That is a great, great question there posed. And we'll pose that to the callers as well. That's one thing we want to hear from. Will Man United's defense be the best in the league with Varane and Maguire? If so, why? If not, why? I don't want anyone saying yes or no. I'm going to block you from the terrace. We are not a key stage 1 channel. We are not basic bitches. We are not the front. We're not the skin of the onion. We're in the center, bro. Like, you got to go through tears to get to what we know. This is the Football Terrace. Creme de la creme. You know, we're not a Ford Cougar. Do you know what I mean? We're a Range Rover. You know, we're not McDonald's. We're Gourmet Burger. Is Gourmet Burger good? I don't know. Like, proper burger here. Like, real cheese on it. No plastic cheese in this mofo. I'm only joking. You want to say yes or no? You can say yes or no. I'm going to put that poll in now, right? Right, let me write this in. I'm going to do it in capitals. Will Man United finish? See, I knew I made a mistake, but the writing is so small, right, on that. Will Man United finish with the best defense in the EPL with Varane and Maguire? It's a yes or no on the poll, but of course I want you to phone up and have your say on it. That poll's now out there, inspired by man like Slens. Thank you, my friend. By the way, when I say the Football Terrace ain't basic, I am chatting about you, the viewers. So I'm complimenting you. 37 days. Let's see. Hello, Nabil. Hello, Nabil. You've been giving me stick today on socials, haven't you? I love you, my friend. Thank you very much for that super chat, my guy. I'm not sure what's up with him, but there we go. Let's have a look at a few more comments and we're going to do some calls here. Gunner TV says, Arsenal need Maddison top 4, top 5, top 6, probably. It's interesting what's going on with that deal, but we'll update a little bit on that later. Next caller, I'm going to go to Ray. We're going to get Ray on the show next. What you saying, Ray?
Oh, I agree with that defense. If Varane comes in, and I know it's going to come in, we're going to be top. I mean, we're going to be the best defense in the league. We have Maguire, Varane. Who's going to destroy? Luke Shaw from one side. Wan-Bissaka is going to destroy anybody that comes from that side. Like, where's our weakness? Like, Henderson there or De Gea? Either for me, both of them are good. And with up forward, we have no problem. We have one of the best strikers in every position. So we just need to get a midfielder. To me, we need to get a midfielder. And I think sending some players on loan, some young kids that we have at the club, we need to send some. I think Gardner needs to go on loan one more season. I think we need to get at least one midfielder into the squad. Nevertheless, if Pogba leaves or he doesn't, we need to get a defensive midfielder come in. If Pogba leaves, okay, we need to get a replacement for him. But I think Van de Beek we're going to see more of him this season. And I think he can be a okay replacement for Pogba in that position. But we need a defensive midfielder. We haven't had one since Matic because Fred or McTominay, they don't do the job.
Yeah, listen, I think we do need a new midfield player. I mean, that would be the perfect summer. If we got a good CDM, Varane and Jadon Sancho, I mean, we have to factor in that Pogba may leave, and we'll see what happens there. But Man United have got a replacement for Pogba leaving lined up already, and we'll talk about that later on this evening. But listen, Ray, thank you very much for phoning up and having your say. Ray believes that Man United will have the best defense in the league when Raphael Varane becomes a red. And you know what? We applaud it on the terrace. This season on the terrace, we will be the only fan channel that does this as well, by the way. We are going to celebrate fandom. We're going to celebrate fans being fans. We're going to celebrate someone who says, I don't really think my manager's good enough, but I'm going to support him 100%. I don't really think my striker's good enough, but I'm going to cheer for him every game and encourage him as much as I can. Fans being fans. Fans, I actually think, right, if you introduce a kid now to football and let him see the level of toxicity that we have on social media, they wouldn't want to watch the game. Now, you've got to criticize. You've got to banter sometimes. But do you know what? I think as a football channel, we owe it to ourselves to not blind face, nothing's wrong at my club while it's burning down, but have a bit of support, like match-going fans do. Match-going fans love or hate a manager, love or hate a striker. When they're in the stadium, you support and you cheer on. We need more of that. Not unyielding, not 100% of that all the time, but more support. And we're going to work out our way on the terrace of celebrating and promoting more positivity across social media when it comes to football, because it's needed. We need less Gini Wijnaldum, less Saka, less Rashford, less Sancho issues. And I think we do that by pushing more positivity across these platforms. Let's see who's up for being more positive. Criticism is welcome, though. Next on the show, we've got Leaf to come soon. Everyday same to come soon. First, though, Sunshine's here with me. My brother, what you saying, mate?
How you getting on, King?
I'm good. The rain is coming down heavy. It's like being in Manchester right now where I live, which is amazing. Varane's closing in, mate. Give me your thoughts.
Oh, mate, what a signing. Like, obviously, a couple of weeks back, I think rightfully so as well, many United fans and many other fans just knew that there may be a sniff of bullshit if you know, whether we could even get Varane, let alone speak to him. But I just think hats off to Murtough and Fletcher for kind of just acting quickly on the news that he may not want to stay. Do you know what I mean? And to get it so far advanced, you gotta give massive credit to these guys, yeah, because they've had to literally get straight in there and try and work out some form of serious professional deal in which Varane would absolutely love and turn his nose up at any other offer. Because let's be honest, any other big club right now could have gone for him. I have no reason to believe anything else other than the fact that they clearly were too far advanced ahead and Varane was pretty much settled. So big ups to Murtough and Fletcher for this. I mean, let's be honest, I'm going to call it now. We've got Varane, bro. We've definitely got him. I'm just excited to see whether we do get that midfield replacement for Pogba.
Yeah, I mean that's my view as well. And I think what's really encouraging, the people I spoke to today said that United have already moved on to that to a degree, and because they're so confident that this Varane deal is where it needs to be. And a bit like you, I was very skeptical. I remember the first two shows that Dean and I did on this subject. He just said, he goes, I've spoke to people at United and they just don't believe it's going to happen. But they worked on it well and they got it over the line. And I think keeping Pogba but still buying a midfielder is important. But if Pogba does go this summer, getting an adequate replacement, somebody of Saul Niguez's level, somebody of Goretzka's level, is going to be key. Do you know, and if we do that, then I think we can head into this season with maybe not as much confidence as maybe a City or a Chelsea.
Optimism.
But go into it in our club and go, do you know what? We've got a squad now that has no excuses, very few holes. It's fairly deep as well. It's a pretty deep squad based on that. And yeah, I'm just really happy that we're bringing one of the best centre-backs in the world to Manchester United. That in isolation is phenomenal, because how often have you seen like a world-class centre-back or world-class player from a Madrid or a Bayern or a Barca join a top Premier League team in their pomp, in their
I can't
peak?
remember the last time, bro. I really can't remember the last time. And, you know, as you were saying earlier, recently I do hope Pogba does stay. I mean, I do think he'll go. And if he does, I mean, I'll give him his best dues. But I think this Varane deal, if we can get him, that may be some leverage for him to stay at least one more season, sign a 2-year contract, and all to go, you know what? Do a Ronaldo. We'll let you go at the end of the summer. We'll get some good money for you. You know, we'll let your agent know that you're happy to speak to any club behind the closed doors. Do you know what I mean? Just make it tick over. Because if you can keep him for another year in that team, he may actually have a bit of reflection time and go, raw. United actually look like we can go places, and maybe going to PSG, maybe just not the one, may not be the one for me. So I think Ollie and the board have got to play this one clever. But if we can keep on a hold of Pogba, then we're blessed. But if we do get rid of him, I don't think a lot of people saying how we're gonna kind of replace Pogba. We can't replace Pogba's talent. However, we can replace the midfield. We can replace him with midfield areas who play slightly different football and have slightly different abilities that will allow us to still play good, expansive football, just slightly different without Pogba's attributes. I think we could do that with the money that we get for him.
No, I agree, and I think that's the most sensible thing. It's like, I said about being supporters. There's this element of we're not going to get a like-for-like replacement for Paul Pogba. So, and I think everybody knows that. So that's why I'm not being overtly negative about the idea of him leaving, because I feel like I'm at terms with that. What I want is it's like when Cristiano Ronaldo left. There was not a replacement for him because he was the best right winger in the world at that point. So you can't replace him. What we actually did wrong, we tried to with Valencia. I know we needed someone on the right, but we should have bought Valencia and a world-class number 10 or a world-class striker, because then we could have replaced the creativity and all the goals and gone in. If we'd have signed what we did with Van Persie, if we'd have done that 4 years earlier and signed a goal scorer like Van Persie, kept Rooney as a second striker and a good winger like Valencia had come in, I think we'd have done. I think we'd have won the league that season, because we just we lacked. Do you get where I'm coming from? And I feel like
we missed out on the numbers with Ronaldo. We missed out on the numbers in terms of assists and goals. And you're never ever going to replace Ronaldo. However, you can kind of cushion the blow with an absolute world class striker. And obviously Valencia's I think his crossing rate and his percentages in terms of completion of crosses were absolutely outstanding when we bought him. So I think we would have been able to at least curb the Ronaldo loss if we'd have been able to use that money to buy a world class striker and Valencia, and there wouldn't have been as much effect. So what's the word? Sorry, negativity. Sorry, impact. A negative impact. Sorry, on the actual team. So I think we're going to learn from it, and hopefully we can do that if Pogba goes.
Yeah, that's it. Fingers crossed, mate. Listen, mate, I really appreciate you calling up and having your say as always, mate.
Look yourself, bro.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, mate. Take care. Man, thank you. Thank you again for that super chat there, Nabil. Karen here says, Terry, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juve are a mess. PSG is in a pub league. Why would Pogba want to leave if we get Varane and a CDM in? Premier League is the place. Listen, Mr. Bansal, I think, look, what you've said is logical. Like for me, when I read what you say, I'm like, yeah, why would he want to leave? we don't know his desires. You know, he might just want to spend the last 4 or 5 years of his career in Paris, where he's from, home crowd. Yes, there was that sign that got put up yesterday by a section of fans, but all fan bases have sections that are idiots. So I wouldn't hold that against the whole of Paris or Paris Saint-Germain for that matter. It's just a case of he may have different motivations at where he wants to be. Haaland, you know, the talks have advanced now for that deal to happen. Does Haaland want to stay at Chelsea for the rest of his life? I doubt it. I don't think whatever club Haaland goes to next, I don't necessarily think he wants to stay there for the rest of his life. I think he wants to do a bit of a Ronaldo, maybe playing 3 or 4 leagues. Maybe Pogba wants to play in 2 or 3 leagues to show that that's how good a player I am. I won trophies in 3, 4, 5 different places. So I think there's lots of things at play here, my friend. I really, really do. Do me a favor, everyone who's tuning in right now, please hit that like and that share button, please. It's very, very important that you share this stream on your social media platforms and that you smash the like button. A few people asking for the Maddison update here. Yeah, the James Maddison situation is really interesting because, of course, since Mr. Ornstein spoke about this deal a few days ago, saying he can't see it happening, it's gone very, very quiet. My understanding still is that James Maddison would like this move. His representatives have touched base again with Arsenal to see what's going on, and Arsenal are very much fed back into him that they're weighing up their options essentially in terms of, can we afford this? Can we get this done? That's because they're also looking at Tammy Abraham. Now, Tammy Abraham and Maddison collectively is going to cost well over 110 million pounds. Well over 110 million pounds. About 110 million. 70 million for Maddison is about the quoted price right now, and 40 million pound for Tammy. That would take their summer spending up to that 200, near and around that 200 million pound mark, right? Plus, they want to be able to get a right back in as well. We've always felt for the majority of the summer that Arsenal may not be able to sign all the positions they need. Selling players is now very, very, very key for Arsenal Football Club. So getting rid of Lacazette, securing Xhaka's exit. I'm not sure if Xhaka's exit's actually gone through yet or not, but that's the point. All these things going on are very, very important indeed. That's kind of what's slowing this down now. A striker in some respects is now being focused on with a little bit more attention after Emil Smith-Rowe signed. Maddison is still a target. Hassan Mawar is still a target. Basuma is still a target they would like to bring into the club as well. Tammy's now become a major target for them. They need to weigh up those midfield areas. Do they prioritize the central midfield areas more than the attacking element now that Smith-Rowe has signed? Maybe. So it is a deal that can happen. It's a deal that the club want to do, but finances will be key in relation to this. The sale of certain individuals and raising enough money is going to be pivotal because he's so much more expensive, James Maddison. You could buy a Basuma and a War for the same money that it would cost you to get Maddison. So maybe that's the option that Arsenal end up going for in the end. Let's have a little look here. Who's coming on next? We're going to get Leaf on soon. Before Leaf, we're going to go to Everyday Same. Welcome back to the Football Terrace, mate. Varane closing in on his move to Manchester United. Give me your thoughts, buddy.
My thoughts are, it's weird because I'm kind of not, because we were never expected to get it. We all thought it was a ruse. Obviously, the circumstances are different. They need the money. They're not respecting him. He wants to leave. You know, the kind of negative effects of the global pandemic, which will get worse over the next few years. But what it does to me is it just makes me feel kind of, oh, we're so close to a team, you know. If we get that 6, if we get Varane and then we get that 6, we'll have enough players that will be kind of like, you know, they won't play circumspect football regardless of do you know what I mean? We won't have to go behind before we start playing football. And that's what kind of excites me. It's almost like, okay, this looks like it's going to happen. Obviously, we can't count our chickens. I mean, they don't use fax machines anymore, but still. But it just makes me think, God, once we get him over the line, we're so close to a team. We're so close. And I just want to, it's just, and, you know, it's underestimated between us. I mean, I said it the other day when you know, we got Sancho. We've not had, think about this. People say, oh, well, you know, you've got world-class players. But if you're playing in the wrong position, it doesn't matter. If I list Alexis Sanchez, Mason Greenwood,
Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Jesse Lingard, Henrik Mkhitaryan, Dan James. All these players have one thing in common. They're all kind of good players that play shit on the right. Do you know what I mean? So we've got a right-sided player now. We're going to get a good centre-back, hopefully. We get that number 6 and we can watch football.
Mate, and that's where I agree with you so much. I understand everybody's got this desire for our squad to be perfect. And I understand CDM is a role that everybody considers to be part of that. But you know what? Most squads, if you ask like the fans of that club, we always often view our rival clubs as being sometimes in a more perfect situation than we are. You know, there's Chelsea fans panicking this summer. Liverpool fans are pretending not to panic. City fans, you know, let's see who they pull off. Like every club generally goes into a season with a hole or two. But I'm really confident with what we're building here. I truly, truly am, and it's exciting times ahead. And I was trying. I asked this question before we put the poll out. Do you think that Manchester United will finish with the best defense in the Premier League next year with Varane and Maguire? Do you think we'll have the best sort of defensive record in the league with them playing together?
I don't think you can answer that question with just them two, because a defensive unit includes the all 4 and the goalkeeper, and like we've not even determined who our goalkeeper is. It's all down to the fact of the matter is David De Gea is the greatest shot stopper of all time, and he's the worst goalkeeper with his feet at all time. So, you know, if you're playing Dean Henderson and we're playing out from the back and we've got them, then yeah, we'll have a good defence. To be fair, I'm not really interested in, oh, we've got the best defence this, because it doesn't mean shit unless the whole team works and we defend as a team anyway. So let's just not weigh ourselves down with minutia and just get the players, and then we'll see what.
I agree. I mean, if we have the best defensive, I'd rather have the 10th worst defensive record and win the league than the best defensive record and come second. So no, I do agree with you on that, mate. Listen, great call as ever, every day. Same. Speak to you again soon, mate.
Players.
Take care, mate. Thank you. Smash that like button for us, but we're closing in on 2,000 live viewers, which is absolutely amazing. Leaf joins us next. Leaf is a Spurs fan. Raphael Varane to Man United, closing in fast. Leaf, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a very good news for United. I mean, we obviously all knew that it was going to go through. Now I'm hoping that Man United get the fee as low as possible, and they try to get the fee, the money, the installments as low as possible, and as the longest period as they want, so that Real Madrid can't afford Koundé. So yeah.
Well, I did get told today in my conversations that maybe Real Madrid are not actually looking this summer for a direct replacement in those central defensive areas. Maybe looking to save and invest the money elsewhere in their squad. So again, from a Spurs perspective, like this is why I love the transfer window, because this deal is a gateway transfer, and it's going to lead to others going through. And you know, Spurs may be lucky here and find themselves with Jules Koundé and Romero together. I mean, suddenly you're added into that mix for best defensive partnership in the league.
I'm going for that, by the way. I'm going for those two to be the best defense. The best defense doesn't mean the best 2 center backs. It means the team as a whole. And I think with Nuno, with Højbjerg, Skip, and the 2 center backs, I think we'll have the best defense. Yeah. Just like
listen, it'll be interesting indeed, mate. Listen, great call again, Lee. Thank you very, very much, my friend. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, we're going to go to Gunners TV. Looks very excited to come on and have his say. So welcome to the terrace. What do you want to say, mate?
Hello, Terry. How's it going, mate?
Very, very well. What's on your mind, fella?
Well, I love what you just said about being more positive towards our teams. I'm obviously an Arsenal fan, but like, I don't want to slag anyone off here, but like, you know, Turkish, he's very negative about the Cronkies, right? Now, look, I like Curtis Shaw TV. We're paying Runnison 40 grand a week. Runnison. I mean, we are putting the money into the team. It's how it's spent. Pepe, 72 million. You just signed Sancho for the same amount of money. You know, Cronkies aren't the greatest owners ever, you know, and I miss Highbury so much. You might have a leaking roof at Old Trafford, but it's still the theatre of dreams. When you move to a new stadium, it's so different, you know, and we've struggled so much. All right, we've won a few FA Cups, but 17 years now without a title. And last season was the worst season. I think it's the worst Arsenal team I've ever seen. We've got some promising youngsters, Saka, Smith Rowe, but no goals from midfield. Oh my, you know, so James Maddison is a cert for me. We need him. A while would be great as well, but Maddison, I'm a bit worried about Aubameyang, but he hit a crossbar with a volley yesterday, which almost went in. Acrobatic volley, beat Millwall 4-1.
There we go.
I'm just worried, but I think Varane for you guys would be amazing for Maguire. I think Man City with Diaz and Stones, I think they'd rival you for best defence. But I think Varane, I think Real Madrid are just messing you around at the moment. They just want more money. And I think the Premier League's bullying Spain, France. We're bullying everyone. And it's just proven that we're the best league in the world. And I'm really hoping Arsenal can climb the table. And I'm getting behind Arteta and Edu, because with the fans back in the stadium, if we perform like we did last season, they will get they get sacked. What do you think?
Listen, I think teams will get away with a lot less this year if they're performing badly, because the fans will just not put up with it. But at the same time, maybe things won't get as bad because you are there in the first instance, supporting them and cheering them on and giving them that encouragement. So, it could work both ways, mate. It really could. Really appreciate you calling up, mate, and having your say.
Thanks, Terry. I'm a new member, and I love your channel, mate. You're great.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate that. Top,
See you,
man.
mate.
Thank you. Listen, as I say, people are entitled to. I was looking for my pen during that because I take notes down and note certain times of calls so I can timestamp. And I legitimately, right? I don't know where my pen's gone. I can't even see it anywhere. Like, it's not on the floor. I don't know where it's gone. I can't find it. Have any of you seen my pen? It's actually annoying me. I was on the stream and I thought it should be here. And I was like, where's it gone? Like, legit, my pen has disappeared. I can't see it anywhere. It's a madness. Oh, found it. There it is. It was under the keyboard. But yeah, listen, as I said, look, people are entitled to criticize their team and not be happy with certain points. I think, though, that there's a difference between that and being negative for every moment about every little thing, and that negativity becoming almost false. So you saw last season, I'll give Troops. Troops is a prime example here. Last season, he was negative a lot about Arsenal, but when Arsenal beat Man United, he celebrated because he supports his team. Like, the weird thing is when your team isn't doing well, but you win an important game, but you don't celebrate it because, we didn't win last week, though, so why should I celebrate this week? That's that weird kind of negativity that I think is false, that I think is put on, that I think is, it's just shrouded in like a weird pseudo pretense. You're not really that upset. I know that you're when you come off camera or you get off Twitter, you're celebrating. It's like we can all tell by the tone of your voice. You're not angry at that moment, but each to their own, I suppose. So a much big difference between the criticism that I see from someone like Turkish and then people that are negative at every step, every moment about every game and everything going on. Big recap for everyone if you're just tuning in. Manchester United and Real Madrid have entered official talks with one another, direct talks between the clubs to finalize the last few details of Raphael Varane to Manchester United. The fee will be for around 50 to 55 million euros. Personal terms are not a problem. The preliminary legalities are done. The base fee, as we mentioned, has been agreed. The payment structure around this is being finalized between the clubs at the moment. It is reported from France and from Spain. And now we're getting reports come out in the UK as well that this deal is imminent, that it's closing into being completed. And it very much stating that Raphael Varane will be a Manchester United player. One of the big Madrid outlets, one of the close sources to the club, their final word on their statement this afternoon was Varane is leaving Real Madrid. This is going to happen. Will it happen tomorrow? Maybe. Will it happen in the next week? Maybe. Will it happen this summer? Almost a certainty, 99.9%. No one can predict exactly when it's going to be announced. Listen, we didn't expect Jadon Sancho to be delayed as long as it did. But I have thought for a while, and especially yesterday, as soon as they announced Ollie's new deal, I thought things are going to intensify quickly for Raphael Varane. Said it on a space, and I said it on the live stream yesterday because they want to sandwich that news in between in between this. Ben Pierce here. This is I'm retweeting. This is a great tweet from Ben, who says, cannot wait for the Man United Twitter meltdown tomorrow when Varane turns up for training at Madrid. Yeah, exactly. And then what you'll see tomorrow is what you're going to get tonight is you'll get a tier 1 or 2 say something negative, kind of along the lines of talks are not as things are not as far gone as, say, one outlet. I'm trying to get the right claim here, where, for instance, they're saying sources close to Varane say that negotiations have intensified. Someone might say, well, they haven't really intensified. They've just begun direct conversations. But then these same journalists are the ones that tell us that all the conversations, the majority of the conversations happen before they actually speak directly. So there isn't much to talk about directly. It's the final part, right? They literally contradict themselves. But you'll get someone play the deal down in one way, shape or form. You'll then get a journalist who turns up training tomorrow saying, oh, could there be a snag in the works? That's what you can't allow yourselves to get dragged into as a fan base. These talks just take, Man United might get told something by Madrid in the conversations today, and Man United go away and work on it. And they don't send it back until tomorrow afternoon because there's other things to do. There is no rush on this deal. Everyone should remain relaxed, but he's definitely closing in as it stands right now on a move to Man United. What I also read earlier on, this was a really interesting update as well that I read. He said here that in the last hours, significant progress has been made with Varane to Man United. The optimism is remarkable between the parties. Both clubs have agreed a chess game is not convenient. And that was, again, one of those standout pieces that you should focus on. Not that it's coming. Like, people always say, the words like close, imminent, done deal. I see that, but I don't read into that. I read into both clubs agree a chess game is not convenient. We're not messing about. Look at our dealings in the last 7-8 years. It's all been about, we'll get one over on you. Watch, we'll win this debate. Who cares? Sit down, be amicable, keep it private. What I love is more and more now the tier 1s are kind of playing down Man United's moves, and that's because Man United are asking them to do it. I truly believe that Woodward used to be like, listen, sell this one up and make everyone excited. No. Tier 1s are meant to be boring. They're meant to almost be tap-in-esque. Update here. Swap deal complete and signed. Here we go. Eric Lamela and Sevilla is in Sevilla to undergo his medical. Hill will be in London soon to sign his contract. That is done for Tottenham. Tottenham signed Hill, and Eric Lamela goes in the other direction. We knew that was coming, but it's now announced as a complete and utter done deal. Next on the show, we've got Winter Surfer coming on. And listen, I'm not just tier 1. I run this game now. I am transfer news. Remember that. Now, someone will clip that up and someone will go, tell me Sam again. It's called sarcasm, my friend, but I appreciate the lovely compliment there, George. Winter Surfer's on here next. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good. Bow down, transfer news god. Bow down. No, I actually think it's a very, very good deal for Man United. I'm very surprised that Chelsea weren't in for him, or maybe even City or some other of the powerhouses. Because I know people like to, if you notice now, most rival fans like to say, well, Varane's not that good without Ramos. He's not doesn't have a good game without Ramos or something like that. But he's won multiple Champions League. He's won a World Cup. I think it's a very good deal, especially, what did you say, 50 million euros or something like that?
Yeah, in and around that, yeah.
I mean, I think that's an astonishing deal, because if you look around Europe, I don't think there's a lot of elite centre-backs in their prime at the moment. And he's one of them. Whether whether him and Maguire become the best defence, or he becomes defence, it doesn't matter. It improves the defence. So that's all that matters. And like you said, how many I wouldn't care if I had the 10th best defense. As if I won the league, I wouldn't care. What it does is it provides confidence for those ahead of him. So as much as people don't like Fred or McTominay or something, at least they'll know he's behind them with Maguire, and so forth, and Bruno and everything like that. I think he's a world-class defender, and if you bring in world-class players, no matter what position you're in, it gives a confidence to the rest of the team. And you bought in two.
Yeah.
You bought in two already. Do you know what I mean? And if Pogba leaves, right? But then that will be the next big one. Who do you replace him with? Because I don't know what the status is of Van der Beek, whether Ollie really fancies him or not, or if he wants to bring in maybe a Soundagares or something like that to replace Pogba. But I think it's an excellent signing. It was like when we were linked to Hakimi. It was like, bring him in. He's a world-class player. It just boosts up the squad. And I think it would give a massive confidence to the rest of the defence, to Maguire, who I think is unfairly criticised. So I think he's becoming a better leader. And I question Maguire as being the beta centre-back. Over the last couple of years, he's turning into an alpha centre-back, which means he is the leader of that defence. And he showed it in the Euros as well. So I think it's an excellent signing. I think it could be one of the signings of the season. Low key. Could be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interest. When you say low key, what I find interesting about that is he's what is regarded as one of the best. And it was funny. People on the terrace when Chelsea played them in the Champions League, and a few people like dug into him.
Yeah.
And its dog switched on Jem. How dare you say he's this, he's that, he's the other? You dare suggested. Like I remember asking the question, well, is it not true that he needs Ramos to hold his hand? Because that's what Twitter was saying. I was shot down. I said, I'm just asking questions here. Suddenly now there's all these problems with him. And the way in which people have started to try and create these pseudo problems, these hollow problems, these empty. Again, they're loud, right? And I haven't heard this saying in a while, but it makes so much sense. Empty vessels make the loudest noises. And if I think about the majority of debates that I listen to now on Spaces on Twitter, which I think they're a joke, half of them, most of the conversations that I see trend, it's empty, pseudo, hollow, horrible debates where it's just like it's for attention. I'm going to say something like unpopular opinions were tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, they were a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek, and but people now go, "Oh, I'm going to say that. What can I say that's going to cause the most amount of controversy?" But there's nothing really behind it. And
no logic.
There isn't. And you know what? For a bit of banter, it's fine, but it's how you want to work these things out. And I expect rivals to try and play Varane down. I'm seeing certain Man United fans panic now that we might actually have a good enough team to Ollie to achieve with. It's making them angrier. I'm sort of like, you literally said last season. You literally said Ollie needs great players to make him win. You then said another video, I just want Man United to win. Oh, but Ollie's given the best players possible now, so maybe he can win. But I don't want him to win like that because he's going to finesse it. It's not going to be about him. So you don't want us to win then. Like, it's just crazy, bro. Like, honestly.
Why would I honestly, what you said earlier about positive fans, I mean, I think you're right. I think every fan has a right to criticize their team, right? But I believe as soon as they kick off approaches, you should be 100% behind your team, not wanting to and if one of the players you don't like fails, you shouldn't be then coming back and saying I told you so, because it hurts your team. So I never understand that. I understand maybe you don't rate them, but you should want them to succeed for your team because it only helps you and your team in the end. And that's what I don't get, which that's why I hate all these hives, all this Bruno Pogba FC. Why isn't it Man United FC? Why isn't it Chelsea FC? You should always want your club to do well. You shouldn't be going, "Oh, I told you so, he was rubbish." It's like, no, well, that's okay, but we've lost now. Well, how does that help us?
Well, but the thing is, I understand debating which player you think is best, but when they're your own play, this is what I would say to people. It's like someone's come onto Space the other day and was like, I can't banter any other teams because of where we are as a football club. I can stomach that logic to a degree. But it doesn't mean that when comparing and we're talking about who our best players are as a club, it doesn't mean you need to be toxic with your own players just because you don't feel you can banter somebody else's club. I'm not even saying when you're talking about Chelsea, be toxic towards Chelsea. Just if you're going to be negative about someone, Like, be negative about a rival. And if you want to say that Martial is better than Rashford, say it. But that doesn't mean Rashford's shit. It's or you need to abuse him, or you're like, oh, well, I don't want Martial getting abused, but Rashford deserves the abuse because he's doing all that PR nonsense. By the way, feeding kids was PR, but there we go. Listen, Winter Surfer, top man, thank you for coming on and having your say, mate. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Next caller on the show is gonna be Red Devil for Life. Red Devil for Life is now coming onto the terrace. What do you want to say, buddy?
Hi Terry, I just want to say, like, I've been watching your channel for a few years, and like, you're doing a great job, mate. Just want to say that, and I know you hear it all the time, but yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. What's on your mind in terms of this Varane deal, my bro?
Oh, mate, I can't lie to you. I've never been this excited for a transfer for a very long time. Like, seriously, Sancho is one thing, and I'm happy that we've got that right wing situation sorted out after all these years. But Varane, literally, it's like he's guaranteed like world class, and there is in his attributes, you can't see a weakness in him where he's going to come in and flop. I think he's going to elevate Maguire so much, and I think he'll look after Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. And I think David De Gea might even get some confidence out of it, or whoever the goalkeeper is. I'm not really too fussed, but I'm really excited for the season, really. And obviously, a few weeks I've been like very nervous whether it's bullshit or not, the news, but now like I'm just so confident. And if we get him, mate, oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Mate, listen, I'm confident it's going to go through, but I'm also nervous because I can guarantee everybody this now live on the air that a number of other YouTubers, I'm not going to name them, but I know who they'll be. They've already screenshot all my tweets. Yeah. And if say it fell through tomorrow for any reason, they wouldn't look at it logically and say, oh, well, like, it was nearly done, but in the 11th hour, Real Madrid offered him 15 million a year and he stayed. They would just say, you said this and it went wrong. Like, I've actually said there's still a possibility. There's still this small chance it doesn't go through, but 100%. It doesn't mean now the signing is closing. Anyway, aside from that, I want it to go through for Man United first and foremost. There is a part of me, because I've gone out on a limb on this deal based on the information that I was given, that it would happen. So, like with the Haaland news I did a couple of weeks ago, all I said is that they were putting together a bid of a certain amount. That looks pretty much nailed on that they're going to do that bid now. I haven't said it's going to go through. I haven't said it's 100% going to be a signing. So I've got no nerves about that. But this one, I just know my life on socials is almost not going to be worth living for a few days. And the Irish, do you know what's really scary about that, bruv?
Yeah.
I've got no control over what Raphael Varane decides to do tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know what, you know what I mean? Man United might pull out of it tomorrow, and then it's like, oh, shit. My first thought is going to be delete the apps.
No, but Terry, that's the consequence of what you're doing, though. Like, you shouldn't worry about these people.
No, I don't really, bruv. Like, as I say, like, when I say, like, not people I don't know on socials, like I get it from them. There's just a handful of YouTubers out there. There's a handful of YouTubers out there at the minute that are very upset with the development of the football terrace, and I don't really understand why. Because I actually offered.
Oh, screw them, man. Forget them.
No, I have done.
You're growing, bro. Look how you're growing. Look how much you grow. I watched you since UTF days, and look at you now. Like, it's massive, man. And you're the first person who's actually like interacted with like the audience and like brought us in, and that's why you're doing so well. And you know, because you at least care about everybody. It's no echo chambers. You listen to everybody's opinion, and that's what football's really about. It's the beauty of it, and that's why we love it so much.
I appreciate that, bro. As I say, the irony is I actually offered those people opportunities to get on board.
Hey, you already, you got loads of people like KG and Anita and these lot doing shows. Like, come on, man. Like, forget these lot.
What's really interesting about it as well?
Fuck the haters.
Exactly. No, like, I agree with you, mate. Like, we're going places this year. We've got lots of big things in the pipeline. We're very, very excited. I appreciate your kind words, mate. Take care of yourself, buddy. Thank you.
You too, buddy. Take it easy.
Very, very much indeed. Do you know what's interesting? Actually, a lot of the bigger YouTubers have been really kind. Like when we hit the 200K, so many reached out. Like Hugh Wizzy being as an example, like reached out. Well done. Like it's actually I don't want to sound horrible. It's been some of the smaller YouTubers who I don't know for what reason have been like so poisonous this last 2 or 3 weeks towards me. It's kind of crazy. I won't mention their names because I won't give them any. I won't play it up. I don't even get offended by it. I just laugh. It's just hilarious. Like I don't really get it. Burning them bridges is a very weird thing to do. Next on the show, oh my Dizzy is here again. What you saying, buddy?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. This Varane news is closing in quick. Give me your thoughts, bro.
I'm gonna come clean. Like I'm not gonna get my hopes up just yet, but if it comes together, think about the back line that United have. And also another thing I wanted to say is I was watching the stream that he was doing earlier on Haaland, and he was talking to Chelsea fans, and he was asking them what is a realistic expectation for your team if you manage to get Haaland, right? And the interesting thing for me was they're in a better position than United have been, in the sense that they have a better manager. That's what everybody says. They have a better team. That's what everybody says. But to them, their realistic expectation is challenging. But for United fans, it seems like there's this weird toxicity as far as like, well, you've got Varane now, so you have to win the league or else he's got to go. But this is not how football works, bro. It just isn't.
Mate, people with that, I think we've got a challenge. I think we've got to try. Everything's contextual to me because you might not win anything, but we might be amazing. So therefore, I wouldn't want Ollie to be sacked. We could win something, but be shit and want him sacked still. Like that's why context is important at the end of it. But what I know about most Ollie outers is what if we improve. Let's say the football, even get them to say out loud what their better football looks like. So I've heard what I've heard a lot is we don't go so negative after going 1-0 up. We try to get the second goal. It's all part of the same thing. Dominate more of the ball against and more of the play against our rivals, more than we did last year. And we essentially break down more of the low block teams. That's kind of it in a nutshell. How it looks, I don't think we can debate that because everyone's got a preference on what looks good. I love direct football. Some people like tiki taka, but the end result should be those things are done. And I think we have to agree on what you want to see. What's the end result of that? And then we agree to that point because then we could all same stage.
Yeah,
but I already know this is gonna happen. It's why I don't care about what they say so much. Even though my job is to listen to them, as a person, it doesn't resonate with me because if we start doing all the things they're asking, they won't credit Ollie.
No,
it's because of Varane and because of Sancho. It's because the players are carrying him. The players are saving him.
Individual brilliance and all that. Yeah.
Both wrong. How you know that logic is wrong is if we do badly, they don't say the players are ruining it for Ollie. They say it's Ollie's bad tactics. Those two, in my opinion, from a logical standpoint, cannot exist on the same planet at the same time. It can't. You can have a bit of both at any one time. The tactics aren't quite good enough, and the players haven't performed either. Or the tactics are good, the players are really good, and together it was amazing. Those two things have to work together because look at Man City right now. With the worst manager, would they play as good at football?
No, they wouldn't.
But they've got loads of world-class players. Equally, if
without two starting 11s, would they play as good as football either?
But exactly. But even under Pep Guardiola, they've had 2 seasons under Pep Guardiola where that same system and the same players have been average. His first season, average, the elite end of the spectrum, and then the season where Liverpool won the league, it was like so. Even with all that goes on, you can still have poor moments. And Guardiola is regarded as one of the top 3 or 4 managers in the last 30 years of football. So football fans, like when you don't like a manager or a player now, like we were saying earlier, the level of it's called the goalpost fallacy. It just gets all the time. I think we should just look. We know it's coming. We should expect what I'm going to do next season. Start a thread. I want to start a thread for each club, and it's going to be what are the negative fans going to say if. And then what you'll see is this is how predictable they are. I think by October, we'll have literally, you won't need to watch any negative fans anymore. You just come to the terrace and we'll retweet what they're about to say because we know what they're going to say. That's the thing.
That's right. Yeah, now football is a moving jigsaw, and to have expectations of win the league or everybody has to leave is madness to me. But on Varane himself, I think the way that he'll partner Maguire is so perfect because I was watching highlights of yesterday. I was watching highlights of every game that we went behind and came back to win. Our problem was that as good as Lindelof is as a defender, his physicality just isn't there, and then his aerial presence isn't there either. You take those things away from the team, and you add a Varane physical presence. That's his whole game, and then aerial presence. That's his whole game. Now we don't go back. We don't go behind as much. So now you're not trying to play from a recovering position. You're playing on the front foot. I think that changes everything for me. That's how I look at it.
No, listen, I completely agree with you. It's a comment. It's something that's just been put out by an article here. It says, I want to try and pronounce his outlet right. 2.8 million followers, La Parisienne. They have said Raphael Varane to Man United is likely to be decided at the end of this up and coming week for around £38 million. They have said,
Wow.
which isn't too far away from the £42 million.
Yeah.
The thing is, the price is a hard one. It doesn't matter what journalist, what agent, whatever you've got. It's very hard to get the prices right on these things. But Le Parisien have said that it's coming into them closing stages. And listen, this is why I said, you know why though I've been able to put my chest on this based on the information I got from some agents and a couple of journalists. The reason I've been able to put my chest on this because this deal's a rarity. It isn't one outlet, even one big credible outlet saying it's going to happen. It's fucking all of them.
It's everyone.
Everyone. That's when you, like, as a fan, I know people are still nervous, but there's an element everyone saying it. Do you know what I mean? Imagine this, right? You get a call. You know, you tell your boy, listen, bro, I saw you go cheating last night. You're chatting shit. If he gets like calls, not just from 5 or 6 different friends, but 5 or 6 different friends from different friends groups, he starts to believe it because it's like, shit, everyone saw it, bro. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. One person, it's like it's too many sources.
It kind of feels like Sancho towards the closing stages where everybody was like, well, this is basically done now. And then it was like, do I be excited? Do I not? I don't know if I believe, but you have to go with him. If everybody's saying it, everybody can't be wrong.
And that's it, mate. Everybody can't be wrong. Everybody cannot be wrong at the same time. And of course, there's still always going to be people, you know, you can't always get these things right. As in like spot on every single detail. Nobody does, but they're all within the ballpark, aren't they? Mate, and imagine they're right. Listen, trust me, I'm going to say 38 million rather than 42 because
for sure.
That 3 even better, bro. Do you know what I mean? It'd be absolutely colossal if that comes in. Brother, thank you very much for coming on the show, mate, and having your say. Soon, man. Top man. Sir. Thank you. Take care. Ziad's now with us. Ziad, what you saying, mate?
You're right, Terry. Yeah, I think it's a good deal for Man United in terms of Varane. He's a good defender, and he's experienced. He's won titles, but I still not fully convinced with Manchester United, and that's mainly the manager. I don't think he's good enough to take United to the next level, for where they want to be in terms of winning the Premier League, winning the Champions League. Like people say, he's finally getting back. They're finally spending money. Well, I mean, they did spend over 200 million on a Maguire, on a Wan-Bissaka, and Bruno Fernandes, who are all 3 great positions and great players in their positions, and he still couldn't win the Europa League. He still couldn't get to an FA Cup final. He isn't the right manager for me. And even when he did get the players for Bruno, so for example, Bruno Fernandes, world-class player. Maguire, who people say is underrated and is one of the best centre backs in the league in the world, and Wan-Bissaka, who's defensively apparently up there as well. It's a good squad, and I don't think, of course, the Varane and Sancho increases that, makes that squad 10 times better. But let's not act like this United squad isn't a good squad, or before these signings it wasn't a good squad. He still had a good squad. He still had a good enough squad to compete on certain levels. For example, City were first, and we all know they would win the league. And United just stood second. They weren't anywhere near City. They didn't challenge City whatsoever. Liverpool, poor season in terms of league. Chelsea, poor season in terms of league. And United still didn't challenge. So when you think of the grand scheme of things, if Liverpool improved this summer, if Chelsea improved this summer, yes, United are also improving, but you see that Oli isn't being able to do it when the clubs are falling behind, if you know what I'm trying to say. So that's why I don't think United will win the Champions League or win the Premier League with Oli, because that squad is really good, but I'm sorry, he's had a good squad. The club have spent money for him and he hasn't shown up. So that's just my point on that.
Yeah, do you know what's interesting from my point of view? I feel like I think it's a very fair breakdown of Oli and him being good enough or not. And I'm in your camp that I don't think he's good enough. But I also understand that from a Man United fan's point of view, like there's a lot of Oli outers, and then there's a lot of people like me who don't think he's good enough. Like me and KJ both believe that. However, there are also, and we like I see the group chats, and people are like, I can't believe they're doing a new deal. I can't believe he's getting these players. But we also have to be respectful that there are millions and millions of Man United fans that do think he's good enough. So that's why if I take my personal emotions out of this equation, I feel like I want to get the answers to the conundrum, which is why I now want, more than I've wanted all summer, a good midfielder to come in as well, because there's no excuses then for the Ollie inners to protect him. And we get the answer at the end of the season. Is Ollie? We will know by the end of the season whether or not Ollie is good enough. Do we improve enough? Do we win more games? Do we concede less goals? Do we dominate more against the lesser teams? Are we more impactful against our rivals? Do we look like a team on the way to being a powerhouse in Europe again? Because under the majority of Fergie's tenure, he only won the Champions League twice, got to 4 finals, but the majority of seasons in the Champions League, we were always fancied. You know, we went out early in the group stages on a couple of occasions in 25 years, but no matter who we played, we weren't always the favourites in games, but we were always in and around, like being the conversation. Can Ollie get us back to that point? That's what I want the debate to end. I want to know, because the one thing that troubles me as a Man United fan, if a manager gets sacked before we feel like his squad has been completed, is you never really know the answers. You know, I always go back to Jose. I wasn't a fan of Jose's style of football, but if Jose Mourinho was allowed to sell Pogba and Martial and allowed to sign the players that he wanted and they kept him happy, nobody knows what we would or would not have gone on to achieve. Some people still think, his tactics and attitude are past it. Maybe it would have been, but we don't know. If LVG was given and bought, one thing that Jose and Ollie have had more than LVG is their number one targets invariably landed, where LVG spoke about how LVG's style needed proper ballers, right? Proper good technical football players. We were giving him a past it Bastian Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin. Do you know what I'm saying? He didn't have the plethora of ballers that we have now. Imagine him with like the Pogbas and the Brunos and the Sanchos that we've got now, but whatever the equivalent was all those years ago. But I want to see it go. There's a part of me that just wants to see. I'm excited to see what Ollie can and can't do with this group, just so we, at the end of it, we can just say we now know categorically. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, he's like someone who thinks he's good enough will always think he's good enough if he gets sacked too early. Someone who thinks he isn't good enough will always think he's not good enough if he's sacked before his squad's been built. But now, put all your personal bullshit aside, Man United fans. We're about to bring in Varane, as far as I can tell. Varane's going to come in. Sancho's here. Excellent squad. Let's see what the man can go out there and deliver. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm wrong. Yeah. I want to be wrong, by the way, because I want us to win something major. I really, really do want to be wrong on this one. Ziad, great call. Great points made as ever. Thank you very, very much indeed. Everybody that's tuned into the Football Terrace this evening, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Commented Villa to offer 200 grand a week to Jack Grealish. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they go in and maybe even a little bit higher. He's going to be offered a hell of a lot of money to join Manchester City, there's no doubt. But everyone that's tuned into the terrace today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Until next time, take care. Goodbye, God.